What's the biz, everybody? It's your boy Vaker Maker, aka D Ensley, and I'm here to give you some true shit. I've been holding off on this video for a long time. It's many months in the making, but here we are. I'm here to talk about my first true Final Fantasy experience. Strap yourself in, because this is going to be a very lengthy video. Probably one of the lengthiest one I've ever done. But enough stalling, let's mosey.
Let's go.
Right.
Right.
I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. It might be my favorite video game franchise of all time. As I've gotten older, I've become less of a gamer than I was as a kid. So recent games like The Last of Us never really caught my attention. With that said, I still find myself having fun playing Kingdom Hearts or Dragon Ball games. For years, I've been intrigued by the lore of Final Fantasy VII, despite the fact that I've never actually played the original game. However, I pretty much know the whole story of the original game ever since I was first exposed to characters like Cloud and Sephiroth in the Kingdom Hearts games. I've always been a fan of those characters and became invested in learning their true stories. Sephiroth is a optional boss fight in both Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and it took me 3 freaking years to beat him in Kingdom Hearts 2 in Cage 2. Y'all done laughing yet? Anyway, throughout my years on the internet, I've pretty much been fully spoiled for the original. But despite that, I was still really excited for this game. I did at some point watch Advent Children, which serves as a sequel to the game, and I didn't really like it, though. Thought it was boring, and half of the shit that the characters were saying made no sense to me. The only saving grace was the graphics and of course the movie's final fight featuring Cloud versus Sephiroth. That fight was cool. It reminded me of how much of a badass Sephiroth was. Despite me not liking the game, liking the movie, it didn't stop me from wanting to learn more about the Final Fantasy story. I found myself doing way more research on it, and even watching cutscenes of Crisis Core, which serves as a prequel game to Final Fantasy VII. And I did enjoy that and became a fan of Zack Fair's character.
Now set the timer.
I know what I'm doing.
That is an opinion you are having. Now set it to 10 minutes.
Fine.
Oh.
Shit.
Do not.
I can fix this.
Do not.
I can fix this.
Touch it again.
I remember the day Square had finally revealed that the remake was actually being made, and seeing a lot of people being so happy, even some people tearing up about it. Meanwhile, my reaction was, oh, cool, neat. Yes, even back then, I was aware of how influential the original was and how long people had been waiting for the remake to be announced. But you got to understand that at the time this happened, the only video game that I really cared about was Kingdom Hearts 3, a game I waited over a decade for, and at the time we didn't even know the release window for. And yeah, I know the Final Fantasy fans have
have waited even longer than that for this remake to even be a reality. But again, I wouldn't really consider myself a Final Fantasy fan at the time. That's why the reveal didn't really affect me the same way the reveal for KH3 did for me back in 2013. Fast forward to 2019, and KH3 had came and gone. I played the game and loved it. Then after going a long time without hearing nothing involving the FF7 remake, suddenly more trailers and news for the remake started sporadically showing up. I watched multiple videos of people giving their thoughts and expectations for the remake, and people talking about how the OG impacted their childhood, and I found myself getting hyped for a video game again. Not now, granted, not at the same level as I was for KH3, but still. Again, I never played the original FF7 game, but I've watched playthroughs of it, so I pretty much know the entire story as well as the themes of it, thanks to watching videos analyzing it. I even watched Final Fantasy VII Mission Abridged, which is a bridge series created by Team 4-Star, and I absolutely love their version of it. In their version, they started off making Tifa Lockhart such a bitch, which is a huge contrast to how she is in the original story. But as the series continued, they managed to make her likable by capturing some characteristics that made her cool in the first place. Now she's my favorite character in the abridged series, along with Sid. Now every time I hear someone nickname Cloud Thunderhead, I just chuckle. Now last December, they just finished the story and it was awesome. I'd be curious to see if they even want to abridge the rest of the FF7 compilation like Advent Children. I doubt they would do it, but I think it would be fun to see happen.
You do realize what Mako is, don't you? Mako is the lifeblood of our world. The planet bleeds green like you and me bleed red. The hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh? Answer me! You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
Say that again!
I'd worry less about the planet and more about the next 5 seconds. Save the screaming for later.
Now, last year, I had pre-ordered the remake on the PlayStation Store, and then April 10th came around, the official release date for the game, and I immediately started playing it, and I absolutely loved it. The game starts off with a bombing mission throughout the first chapter. Cloud trying to be a badass mercenary that doesn't give a crap about nothing but money. His banter with Barrett, the music, OMG, the music. The fun Scorpion boss fight, and of course Jessie being thirsty as fuck. Someone give this girl a cup. Speaking of Jessie, I absolutely adored her in the remake, and really liked that the devs expanded her role compared to what they did with her in the original game, by giving her more screen time and actually giving her a backstory. She became my third favorite female character in the game. Out of all the girls who are attracted to Cloud, she's easily the most flirtatious one. I'm not a video game expert, nor am I an expert of Final Fantasy. Hell, this is the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played. But speaking from the perspective of someone who enjoys playing video games, This game hits all the right notes for me. I know Square's decision to switch the gameplay from a classical turn-based format, which a lot of early FF games, including the original FF7 game, used, to a more real-time action-based combat, definitely rubbed some OG fans the wrong way. I had no problem with this since I was more than familiar with the action-based JRPGs, being a Kingdom Hearts fan after all. So I was glad that they chose this route. I've played turn-based games before, but I personally feel more comfortable with this style of gaming and get more excitement from it. Some people were worried that there would be nothing to offer but button mashing, but trust me, this game forces you to think your way through a lot of your fights, especially the really hard ones. I found myself strategizing on how to fight with each playable character, which material to use, and which character in my party to equip a certain material with. Cloud and Tifa are useful for close range attacks, while Barret and Aerith are good for long range attacks. Aerith was the healer. I often had Barret be the one with the most defense. Tifa was the fastest, and both her and Cloud be the ones with the most powerful attacks. Similar to KH3, you can always upgrade your weapons so that you don't have to be forced to throw away your favorite weapon in favor for a new weapon with higher stats. Even though I did stick with the Buster Sword for most of the game, I did occasionally switch it out with the other swords just to test out the new abilities that come with each sword. One of my favorites being the Hard Edge sword. I enjoyed using the summons like Shiva and Leviathan. But what's even cooler is the fact that you get to battle them as well. I had a lot of fun with a lot of the boss fights. Probably the hardest one for me to beat was the Hell House. And of course, performing a limit break like Cloud's Cross Slash or Tifa's Somersault was always satisfying, especially if they're what ends the boss fight.
These precursors were already pioneering its use. Somehow they learned of the great reservoir of energy pulsing beneath their feet. And we who are born of the planet, with her we speak, her flesh we shape. Unto her promised land shall we one day return. By her loving grace and providence, the Shinra Electric Power Company is committed to changing and evolving with them. Like the ancients, we've harnessed the power of Mako. Are they out there watching us, waiting for us to join them? Where are we?
So, what now?
The graphics were great. Out of all the games I played, this was the best looking one. Kingdom Hearts 3's graphics were great, blending and anime aspects with a cartoony Disney feel to it, while Final Fantasy VII's took a more realistic route and looked great. Sure, there were some scenes that the texture of characters and backgrounds looked a bit off and seemed like it came from the PS1 era, but overall the visuals were beautiful and spot on for the most part. all the character models as well as the character designs for this game looked so great. So great. Characters like Cloud, Sephiroth, and Tifa looked better than they did in Advent Children. And that was a high-budgeted CGI film. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about the real-time graphics or the pre-rendered graphics. This game looks incredible. I loved how this game handled the NPCs. They played a big part in making each part of Midgar feel lively. The conversations they would have were often interesting as they would be reacting to the events of the main story. A lot of the NPCs were either for Shinra or against them. Then you got people who are just caught in between all of this madness and just trying to live out their lives the best they can. And at times it makes you, the player, wonder if what your group is doing is the right thing. Are you guys truly the good guys? With that said, I know for a fact that Shinra isn't, but there are some employees who aren't shitbags. But unfortunately, buying into the propaganda their higher ups are feeding them, as well as the rest of the Midgar. Some side quests were fun, but there were some lame ones, like trying to find some kid's cat. Ugh. The OST in this game was the best I've heard in a game, with the only one coming close as, again, KH3. I remember listening to the soundtrack from the original game and felt like that aside from Sephiroth, Tifa might have the best theme song in that game. And after listening to the remake soundtrack, I probably would say the same thing for this game. And this game has multiple versions of it for you to enjoy, whether it's the one you hear while you get to walk around as Tifa and Aerith in Don Corneo's mansion, or the one where Tifa shares a very emotional moment with Cloud in one of the later chapters. Although I've never played the OG, I did watch the videos of other people playing it, so I do think I have a good idea of how faithful the remake was in terms of story and characters. And for the most part, I think the devs totally knocked it out of the park with both the story and the characters. I've never felt this much attachment to these characters like I have before. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with the fact that I'm actually playing the game. And the characters actually look like people instead of just polygons. And instead of just reading text, we get actual voice acting. But a big part of it is because of how well the devs portray these characters by making them feel like real people and likable. Emo Cloud was nowhere in sight. Instead, he was exactly how he's supposed to be. Cocky, headstrong, and at times snarky, especially towards Barrett. Although it's not very often, he does show a softer side of himself, but that's mostly when it comes to Tifa or even Aerith. He shows greater signs of psychological trauma than in the original continuity, and reacts strongly towards Sephiroth's presence. with both fear and rage.
Are you okay? Hey, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Here, this is for you.
Huh? A flower?
That's right. It's a gift.
Just my luck.
I heard that, you know.
How much?
Well, that depends on the customer. In your case, it's on the house.
Huh?
Lovers used to give these when they were reunited.
Look, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things.
Oh, I'm sure you are. So?
So keep your distance.
Wait, you think someone's out to get you? Is that what you're all worked up about? Relax. No one's going to attack you. I promise.
Pretty old. Be careful.
Okay.
Easy now.
You worry too much. I'm not some princess who needs to be coddled. Shit.
No, you stupid! Wait!
Did you miss me?
Hell yeah! I've been missing you for 18 years.
Yeah? So what? Screw that.
Screw you, Jordan. This new Aerith is amazing. Aerith Gainsborough.
At the beginning of the game, Barrett does come off as a loudmouth hothead who spends too much time preaching about how he wants to save the planet from the evil Shinra Corporation. So I can see how he can be seen as annoying at first, but over time he does grow on you, and you see he's more than just a Mr. T knockoff. Especially the scenes of him and his daughter Marlene are just adorable. Aerith is such a delight. I love the interactions between her and Cloud, especially in Chapter 8 when we're just walking and talking with her. I can see why a lot of people love this character. Over the years, I've noticed a misconception with not just her, but Tifa as well. There's this notion, because of her appearance, that she's just this sweet, innocent, shy flower girl. But let me tell you guys right now, that couldn't be farther from the truth. She is sweet, don't get me wrong, but she's actually quite sassy and flirtatious towards Cloud. She may not be physically strong like Tifa, but she's very confident and courageous. She's shown to be quite a competent mage. Along with being upbeat, carefree, and joyful, she's also compassionate towards others. Aerith oftentimes gets Cloud out of his comfort zone by getting him to do some outrageous stuff you wouldn't think he'd normally do. The voice acting in this game was fantastic, but the stand-up performance for me was definitely Brianna White as Aerith. And the cool thing is, she's actually a YouTube gamer / Twitch streamer herself. Some of you may know her as The Strange Rebel Gaming. So I can't imagine what it's like for her to be a part of something so influential as Final Fantasy. She should be proud. She did a great job, and I hope this leads to more great opportunities for her in the future as far as voice acting goes. While at the same time, she continues doing what she also loves doing, which is playing video games and streaming them.
I'm fine.
Here, this is for you.
A flower?
That's right. It's a gift. You know, for scaring those things away.
Just my luck.
I heard that, you know. The music. were reunited.
Look, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
That moment will go down in the history of my life as one of the most divinely beautiful moments I have ever experienced. If you've heard me talk about my experiences in the game before, you know that this was my first big voiceover role, and I didn't think I had any idea what I was doing. I had so much imposter syndrome. I thought for sure they had gotten the wrong person and that I was absolutely going to mess it up. So to finally hear my voice in the game, in the completed game, and to be the player in this game was just ridiculously cool. So gratifying, and it just meant the world to me. It still does. So to anyone who, gosh, this is going to get cheesy, but bear with me. To anybody who's wondering if they should follow their dreams, oh my gosh, just do it. Because I didn't think I would ever be here. I really didn't. And even when I got here, even when I got cast, I thought, this is a mistake, I don't belong here. But I did, and you do, and I could, and you can. I truly believe that if I can do it, you can. There is a path for you. And if you follow your passion, and yes, there's lots of other things involved, like working hard and having good luck and right place, right time, that's all true. But it all starts with believing in yourself and following your passion and taking that where it leads.
And by the way, regardless of who you ship Cloud with, whether it be Tifa or Aerith, both shippings, in my opinion, are legit, just for different reasons. A lot of people love Aerith, just like a lot of people love Tifa. Both are extremely popular characters, even outside of the Final Fantasy VII community. With that said, you do have some people who dislike Aerith's character for whatever reason, but even Tifa has her fair share of haters as well. Every popular fictional character has their anti-fans. That's why I don't let it bother me. It is what it is. Still doesn't change the fact that Aerith is regarded by many gaming fans and critics alike as one of the most iconic female characters in gaming history. She may also be the third funniest character in the game behind Johnny and Barrett. While I may prefer one character over the other, between Tifa and Aerith, I love both of these characters. I really do adore Aerith's character, and I'd fuck anyone up who disrespect her. Though she may not be Tifa, I'm pretty sure she can kick her fair share amount of asses as well.
You love her or hate her, Tifa is undoubtedly one of the most iconic characters, not only in Final Fantasy, but in video games period, as her various appearances in several titles will attest. So it's no wonder that of the many questions popping up in the wake of the State of Play remake teaser, one that stood out was,
Where in tarnation is Tifa?
Knowing that we can expect to see more from Square Enix in June, we're convinced that they're saving Tifa's big reveal for then. This begs the question, how is she gonna look?
Again, please. I look how good she fights! Oh my god!
Oh my god! I love that design so much.
Bro, she looks so good. How? How?
Bro, she's the freaking wifey, dude.
I love her, dude. She looks better than any of us could have ever imagined.
Right. Not even her average children freaking...
I can't. I'm going to cosplay Aerith and Tifa. I can't pick one over the other.
Well, that's confirmed.
Oh! Oh, she looks good!
Marlene!
Oh, she looks fucking updated and good!
What's happening?
You get to have a drink with her!
You haven't seen her fight yet. Here it comes.
Brawler.
Yeah, that's what I said. Here it comes.
Yeah, give us Tifa gameplay,
Let's
please.
see it.
Oh, fuck yes, dude! Fuck yes, let's go!
Oh yeah, this is actually right after the main.
Lord, dude, look at this fucking game!
The enemies.
Dude, Tifa is, I honestly think she's fucking perfect. Like, she looks great.
She was good.
Oh, yes, you love it, Tifa! Oh, yes! Have you been a good girl? Go, go! Yes! Oh, come on! Keep going. Tifa! Tifa! She looks great. She looks great. Tifa looks great. Tifa looks great. Ooh. Oh boy, here it is. Oh, Tifa gameplay, let's get it. Her design got updated, that's good. Oh, yo, Tifa, let's go! Oh boy. Nice. Tifa gameplay, and she looks great. Okay, good. All right, Square, you did it. She was there. Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Hi.
I know we have to think big.
She's gorgeous. Okay, we get some Tifa gameplay. Oh, she's dope. Give me some brawlers. I love it. Oh, this is when they... Oh, this is when the freaking Dawn sent them down to the sewers. Oh, this is sick. I think she looks awesome. I love that new design. I like the black outline with the white shirt and the suspenders. It's very, reminiscent of the original design, but with a nice modern update. There's the boss fight battle for the sewers. Oh, this looks so good. Woo! Oh my god, we can dolphin kick people. I cannot wait to dolphin kick people. Dolphin punch, what is it?
Wait is over, and Square Enix has finally given us quite the stunning look at Miss Lockhart. And holy crap, she's friggin' amazing. I cannot wait to play this game. Contrary to what fan art might tell you, this Tifa's proportions are exactly what we should have expected, given her past designs.
Then you have Tifa Lockhart. Oh, Tifa. Thanks to the remake, I absolutely love her. I love Aerith, but I think I may love Tifa even more. In fact, she may have become my favorite Final Fantasy character at the moment. Just like a lot of people assumed Aerith is the opposite of who she really is due to her appearance, the same thing goes for Tifa. Ever since the 1997 release of FF7, Tifa has become a sex symbol thanks to her physical features. She's considered one of the most beautiful video game characters of all time, and a childhood crush for a lot of boys who grew up on the game. Because of all of this, as well as a shit ton of raunchy fan art of her plastered all over the internet for years, it's easy for someone to assume she's flirty and super confident. But no, that's not the case at all. In fact, while deceptively strong, Tifa is quite apathetic and emotionally shy. While identifying and responding to the feelings of others, Tifa does not express her feelings very often. And when she does, she struggles doing so, while Aerith, on the other hand, has no problem expressing her feelings and can be very blunt. Tifa has motherly qualities, acting as a support for others and keeping others around her optimistic. However, she's quite confident in her fighting abilities, and after seeing the shit she pulls off in this game, she's got every right to be. I actually prefer playing her over Cloud, to be honest. She's the only one among your party who actually uses her fist and feet to fight, and her attacks tend to hit the hardest. Tifa's a beast, and thanks to all her martial arts attacks and abilities, she's the most fun to play with. That's why I got it set up to immediately play as her whenever she's in my party. It's interesting to note that while Aerith is the one who needs a lot of physical support, Tifa's the one who needs emotional support, as she tends to be very unsure of herself when it comes to making really hard decisions, which I myself can totally relate to. But when it comes to the people that she cares about, she never hesitates doing all she can to help and protect them. Hell, there's plenty of times in the story where she's saving Cloud's ass. In the remake, because of Tifa's fighting background, the devs wanted to make this version of Tifa more athletic looking, so they gave her abs. Nice.
This girl, what's she look like?
Well, she's in great shape.
Is that really important?
Wait a minute. You talking about Tifa?
Well. What do we have here? I can see you're someone who likes to train to be the very best.
Me?
Your physique, slender yet toned, and that perfectly balanced symmetry. I can tell from a glance that you learned from the best there is.
As you can see, I have a bunch of Tifa poster / prints plastered over my wall, as well as other characters as well. But you'll notice a lot of Tifas in here. course, I even got some, as you can see, some figurines and statues along with them. Even polygon figurines. And this statue being made by Exquisite Studios, my very first Tifa statue I got delivered. And some extra nights. Now I do own more figurines, but I'll show you more at a later time. But yeah. You know how when you're on YouTube or Google and you're typing something in the search section and it predicts the rest of the word you're typing? Well, the term for that is autocomplete, and for some reason the autocomplete is off for Tifa. When you try to type in her name, it doesn't work. And it's been like that since 2019, specifically after the Tifa remake design was revealed back at E3 that year. And I know it wasn't the case prior to that. If I had to make a guess as to why this happened, it's probably due to the controversy that was going on with the at the time with the whole Tifa's boobs getting nerfed thing. I do remember that Tifa was such a huge topic on a lot of YouTube videos, so I'm sure that has something to do with her name being disabled in the autocomplete feature. Now, obviously, you can still type in her name and get videos featuring her to pop up, but you won't automatically have her name filled out in the search section as you're typing it.
Here's YouTube. Okay, you type Tifa Lockhart. To see autocomplete doesn't happen. Now, the odd thing is, if you actually do the search, a whole bunch of Tifa videos pop up. And of course, the first thing that comes up is the Final Fantasy reveal. I'm not sure, because you've got, Tifa censored by YouTube, all this stuff. Like, they're not stifling criticism, censoring Tifa. They're not stifling criticism with this. They're just turning off the autocomplete for some weird reason. And it's only Tifa, okay? It's only Tifa. I tried Aerith, and Aerith autocompletes. You see, we get the pop-up. It's weird. The first thing that comes up, not her full name. Cloud Strife, he comes up, but Tifa doesn't. Nothing. I got Tiffany Pollard, nothing. Like, they've disabled it. Is that because you were getting, like, a whole bunch of, Tifa Lockhart boobs, Tifa Lockhart tits, like, all that stuff? Is that what we were getting? It's very, very strange. When I was checking to see if the problem was just YouTube or whether it was Google in general, which it's not, Tifa Lockhart auto-completes in a Google search bar.
Remake comes a design that is obviously the design of old, but modified probably more extensively than it has ever been in the past. Practicality seems to be the basis of this new look, with her skirt now featuring pleated segments to make her martial arts delivery seamless. She wears black shorts underneath with black metal-plated leather gloves. The elbow pad on her arm has been replaced by a red and black leather van brace. Her legs are notably not as on display as in the past, as she wears long-length black leggings, and alongside these, she wears a sports bra. It's unbelievable how much rage this actually caused online, but that's the internet for you. Stop the world I want to get off.
Yes, Tifa's boobs, something that has been a area of controversy amongst people nowadays after seeing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and people have freaked out a little bit because Tifa's knockers are not massively giant.
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually gonna talk about the whole Tifa boobs getting nerfed controversy. So even though the big reveal of Tifa in the FF7 remake at the E3 2019 did indeed receive mostly positive responses from fans and critics alike, there were some who weren't so happy with Tifa's remake design at the time. In fact, there would be blogs and even videos of people discussing their frustrations over it. Some of those complaints were about her new attire. Some of them was about her looking too skinny and not athletic enough, since she's a martial artist. While most of the complaint was actually focused on her breast being nerfed, or in other words, small, or at least much smaller than before. Some of those same people were accusing Square Enix of simply pandering to the SJWs by unnecessarily censoring Tifa. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest here, I thought the whole controversy was stupid. And keep in mind the fact that at the time, I didn't even really have any real attachment to Tifa or any of these other characters for that matter. So I wasn't being biased for feeling that way. And funny enough, I still feel that way today. Having played the game and knowing what I know about Tifa now has made me see how incredibly stupid and pointless the whole argument was than I did back then for multiple reasons. The fact that people were actually bitching about something so shallow as the size of a video game character's breast seems so ridiculous to me, and I still feel that way. Anyways, to add more reasons as to why this whole thing was ridiculous, people were comparing her boobs in Remake to her boobs in those CG cutscenes in the 1997 game, where the graphics were still trying to develop human characters and look less like Lego blocks. And when you compare her model in those cutscenes to how she really looks in the concept art drawn by Tetsuya Nomura, you'll notice that her breasts, even back then, don't look nearly as huge as they did in those CG cutscenes. Besides, it's not like her boobs in the remake aren't big anyways. This version of Tifa has a black sports bra underneath her crop top, which helps support her. And those who have actually played the remake and seen her in other outfits that don't have her wearing the sports bra know for a fact that she ain't rocking no A or B cups. If her knockers are nerfed, then Hojo is one handsome looking and pure-hearted son of a bitch.
Tetsuya Nomura explained that he was asked to tighten Tifa's breasts so they don't flop around in battle by an internal ethics team that appears to be located in Wokeland, California. This ethics team is in charge of making sure the game releases with the proper age rating in all territories. And their main reasoning behind restricting Tifa's breast physics came from a desire to make the game more realistic. True enough, sports bras help a great deal to support bouncing bosoms in battle. It's it's a practical outfit that still looks totally sexy.
Yes, so yes, technically, yeah, she was censored to a degree, thanks to the ethics department, and some have argued, that, well, there's more things than just Tifa's boobs that they should have touched upon, but look, I really don't care, if I'm being honest with you, about the whole what their reasoning for giving her a new outfit and her boobs being the way they are. I don't care, to be honest with you. I'm the only reason why I'm even bringing this up is because I know somebody in the comments was going to bring it up, and I felt like, well, yeah, it's a thing. The ethics department is the reason why, Tifa, for the reason for Tifa's, costume design and her boobs being the way they are. I know for some people it matters. It matters to them. Honestly, it doesn't to me. Honestly, I feel like I'm actually cool with her new attire. I love the addition of her new gauntlets and her gloves and everything. And I'm actually fond of her her leg stockings and stuff like that. So from an aesthetic point of view, I actually think it looked good. Even including like the black sports bra. I like it. I think it looks good on her. That's just me. I think her new clothes is a plus. Is a nice change for her. And from a practical sense, I think it makes sense to me, But for those of you, I know there's those of you that probably don't agree, but it is what it is, You're more than free to feel whatever you feel about it. But me, honestly, like I said, I'm cool with it. I actually prefer her new outfit over her old one. But like I said, that's just me. Now, with that said, I will say though, like, as far as like character designs go, my favorite one will always be the one from in Dissidia NT. Now, like I said, even though I actually think that the remake's Tifa is absolutely gorgeous, I personally think that the Dissidia NT is prettier, and just her overall look is just more faithful to Tetsuya Nomura's concept art design back in 1997.
Comments here and there talking about how Tifa has been censored, and realistically speaking, if she's been censored, that happened quite some time ago, because if you look at her original Final Fantasy VII design, her breasts aren't that huge, because the censored aspect is coming from people saying that her breast size has been reduced, but that happened initially with her original character model, which you can see here. Yeah, so her breast size was pretty huge when it came to her character model. Her breasts are pretty huge for her character model. However, if you look at any of her designs for Final Fantasy VII itself, her cleaned up, updated design for Dissidia, the first one. This is for Crisis Core. This is an Advent Children. And this is a new one. Her body is relatively consistent. The only thing is that her waist area seems thinner in the updated version of Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII Remake. But in terms of her breast size actually being reduced, that has been a thing since this original 3D character model design. You can even see that, again, looking at the Final Fantasy fandom wiki. The fan art exaggerated her breast size, so it might be a case that people are just so used to seeing fan art that they've kind of forgotten what her original design actually looks like, which, again, is this. And then cleaned up, more modernized is this. So they're associating the large breast fan art with her original design when she was never actually like that, perhaps. But yeah, overall, Tifa's design has been relatively consistent.
And being a man that likes all shapes and sizes of breasts, I have to say, I think Tifa is pretty smoking. As you can see here, on the screen. Big Tifa's pretty hot. But what makes me wonder, one of the things that makes me wonder, probably more than anything else, is this is what people have to base off of. This is Tifa's boobs. Now I wonder, people, you know, is this what we masturbated to as kids? I don't know.
Like, the chest size was also reflective of the times and the graphics we were provided with. I almost feel like, and I doubt this is the reason, but if you remember, Cloud's basically two triangles walking around.
Yes.
And Barrett's just a bunch of boxes.
Yeah.
And Tifa's just two big circles. Right. Which, once translated into CG, was just a giant chest.
It's just two big circles.
I mean, he's not wrong. They're pretty damn massive, and
yeah, I mean, here's a great shot of it right here.
that was just graphics back in the day, you know?
Oh, yeah. The concept of the remake, so what was apparently stated is that being a martial arts fighter, she would be more athletic, she was slender, and they would like those to be kind of down. Now, from what I've seen, it's not like she went from like these massive G size to A. It looks like she just went from like G to C.
She's not flat-chested, you guys.
But I mean, like, they didn't shrink her to nothing, and she's like, oh, now she's flat-chested.
Guess what? If any woman has that size of a goddamn bust, they will have problems with their back. Like, it doesn't fucking matter what you do in life. If you're a monk like she is, and if you're super athletic, you will have problems with your back. So this is more realistic, in my opinion.
No, and I agree.
And even if her tits were indeed smaller than before, so the fuck what? She's still gorgeous as hell. And her character design, while different, is definitely faithful to her classic design. I just see it as a modern take on the character. If I hadn't made it obvious at this point, Tifa Lockhart as a character means so much more to me than just another pretty face with a voluptuous body. Unfortunately, a part of Tifa's popularity will always be due to her boob size. Some just look at her as a sex object. However, there are others like me who appreciate the character for much more than that. Her personality, her story, and combat abilities are what intrigued me about the character. That's why I love collecting figurines and fan art of her so much. For me, her physical appearance is just a bonus. Although it could be argued that Aerith is FF7's most important character in terms of the main plot and its lore, and honestly, I sort of agree with that, but you can't deny that Tifa is very crucial to the story as well, especially to Cloud's character arc. As far as I'm concerned, both Aerith and Tifa are the main heroines in their own way. I love both of them, but honestly, I'll always have a stronger love for Tifa Lockhart no matter what.
Welcome to Walmarket, the pleasure capital of Midgar that's got everything for everybody. Couple, huh? So good. Play together, do your own thing, earn a little scratch on the side even. Whatever you're into, we got you. Got a special one-time limited offer.
No, thank you. Come on, Cloud. Let's go.
There's so many great moments in this game, whether they were funny, sad, or just straight up badass. Probably my favorite part of the game is going through Wall Market and all the zany adventures you have while trying to save Tifa from Don Corneo. Seeing Cloud dancing with Andrea, then seeing both Aerith and Tifa's reaction towards seeing Cloud in a dress was hilarious, especially Chadley's reaction. So going into this game, we knew there were going to be changes. New stuff added to the story. And most of the new stuff acted as expansions to pre-existing things from the original game. Like giving Jesse a backstory and having a chapter where Cloud does a mission with Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse, giving them way more screen time than they did in the original game. It was during this mission where we encounter a completely new character named Roche, a renegade soldier third class. Despite being a crazy bastard who served as an antagonist, he possesses a sense of honor, restoring Cloud's health so they can have a fair one-on-one fight. The dude turned out to be both a cool character and a cool boss. Technically, I fought him twice, for the first time while riding a motorcycle and the second time on foot. I did felt Roche was a little bit unutilized in the sense that he could have been used more for the story. That's why it felt odd to me that we didn't see him in later chapters. With that said, it's very possible he'll appear in a future game since he still craves for a rematch with Cloud. With what we got of him so far, I'm very impressed and interested with what the devs have planned for his character.
God damn it! God damn you! God damn you all!
It was us. We did this.
No, you can't think like that. Whatever came before it was Shinra that proved attributed dead. Am I right? Hold on to this anger, okay?
Going back to Biggs and Wes and Jesse, I gotta say that the time we shared with this trio made me sort of attached to each of them, which made it so damn hard to see them all die. Well, sort of. We'll get to that later. Jesse's death scene was definitely the toughest. I mean, I knew it was gonna happen because of my prior knowledge of the original story, but it was still painful to watch my girl draw her last breath. Of course, the scene where Barrett's both enraged and saddened over the loss of his friends and possibly his daughter Marlene, to the point he breaks down crying while punching some rubble, was heartbreaking. And having the track of Broken World playing in the background just made the scene even sadder. Then in that same scene, you'll see Tifa filled with so much anger as her fists are shaking. While she's obviously angry with Shinra for dropping the Sector 7 plate to crush the slums, she also blames herself and the rest of Avalanche, realizing that it was their actions against Shinra are what provoked the company to do something so evil. After all, Shinra only did this to get rid of these eco-terrorists, then blame the incident on them. Despite this, Barrett tries to convince himself that this is all Shinra's fault, so he grabs Tifa's hands and tells her to hold on to that anger and use it as motivation to crush Shinra once and for all, and proceeds to hug her. Aside from the gameplay, it's moments like these that really made me love this game so much. The voice performance and the tone were well executed in that scene, and I'd say the same thing about the rest of the game. This game knew how to make you feel all sorts of emotions, whether it's trying to be lighthearted with moments like the Honeybee Inn, or downright dark like with scenes like this. Now it's time for me to discuss the most controversial thing in the FF7 remake. Its ending. Up till this point, about 90% of the game, in terms of the main story, was being a faithful retelling to the source material. As I said before, most of the changes or new stuff that were introduced were mainly expansions and adding more context to certain plot points from the OG story, like the scenes of Aerith walking to Seventh Heaven to go get Marlene, only for Aerith to give herself up to Shinra for Marlene's safety. We didn't see that in the OG game, but it was mentioned that it happened, and I'm so glad that the remake chose to include it, because I absolutely love that whole scenario. So for the most part, this was a remake. Until the last chapter, that is. Throughout the entire game, we kept seeing more and more of Sephiroth, or at least an illusion of him, as he kept haunting Cloud. Then we saw him again in the Shinra building, but this time, everyone else could see him, not just Cloud. Hell, we even see him kill President Shinra with his long-ass blade. Now, that part did also happen in the OG game, but we didn't actually see that happen, because by the time Cloud and company made it to the room, the president was already dead, and Sephiroth's sword was attached to his corpse. Also, we constantly run into these whispers, or what Maximilian Dude would call plot ghost, interfering with the main characters throughout various situations. It isn't until the near end when we get some exposition from Red 13 when we finally find out what they are and what their purpose. They're there to enforce the course of destiny. They appear in large gatherings whenever events stray too far from fate's intended path. So by the end of the game, we defeat the Whispers once and for all, then actually have a boss fight against Sephiroth. I'm not gonna lie, in my first playthrough of this, I was completely confused with what the hell was going on. And it was only after watching multiple videos explaining the ending that I sort of have a better understanding now, but it still leaves me with mixed feelings. The whole time, Aerith and Sephiroth started giving us a super cryptic dialogue, and we were fighting the Whispers, who were morphed into something that looked like a giant Heartless, and even more weird shit continued to happen. I kept saying to myself, this has Nomura written all over it. And yes, even I'm aware that even though he was director, he wasn't necessarily in charge of all the story decisions. The boss fights were awesome, and listening to this game's version of One Winged Angel was fucking fantastic. It still made me feel a bit off with what was going on. This started feeling less like what 90% of the game was, and more like Kingdom Hearts. And I say that as a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. The fact that Sephiroth is so determined to change fate seems to strongly imply that somehow he knows of the events from the OG timeline, including his defeat, which would explain why he wants to defy destiny. There's so many theories going around that this is either a Sephiroth of this timeline that somehow managed to know of potential future events, or that this is indeed the post-Advent Children's Sephiroth who found a way to travel back in time to change things. Either way, making this game connected to the original Final Fantasy game, as well as the rest of its compilation, makes this remake both a reboot and a sequel. According to some info from the official Japanese Ultimania guide regarding FF7 Remake, the theory of there being potentially more than one Sephiroth could very well be confirmed. Meaning that there's a Sephiroth of this timeline whose real body is currently residing inside a cocoon of Mako at the northern cave inside the north crater, and much like in the OG timeline, controlling Genova, as well as his clones to take on a form of himself to act out his plans. Meanwhile, there's a time-traveling Sephiroth who's trying to change the timeline to work in his favor. Whether these two Sephiroths are working together or acting separately on their own plans, it's currently unknown. Still, the possibility of Cloud and friends having to deal with multiple Sephiroths, especially one who's aware of previous events that led to his earlier losses, it's scary. Like I said before, there could be a time-traveling Sephiroth or a Sephiroth that somehow knows things that he shouldn't yet, possibly due to the live stream, which seems to be the most likely. The same way how Aerith seems to know things, which would make sense since she is a Cetra due to her connection to the live stream. Not sure if I'm a fan of the whole time-traveling Sephiroth concept myself. Again, one of the devs in the Ultimania said that did state that we are dealing with multiple Sephiroths here, and I'm not just talking about Genovaroth or many of Sephiroth's clones. And going back to the live stream thing, we know that Sephiroth can still exist and still do stuff while he's there. He's probably going about things in the same or different method as Aerith. One thing is for certain, it definitely involves the live stream since both characters have a strong connection to it. Though I think Aerith's connection is a bit stronger than Sephiroth's since she's a Cetra. But there's probably certain things that Sephiroth can do that Aerith can't, and vice versa. Well, regardless of whatever explanation the devs come up with for future parts, I just know that it's been something that people has got us clamoring for months since the game came out. People theorizing and such. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And like I said before, just the idea that there's more Sephiroths roaming around just adds more layer of danger to the whole thing. And I'm really, if anything, it just makes Sephiroth that much more of a dangerous threat than he already was in the previous games.
Freedom. Boundless, terrifying freedom. Like a great, never-ending sky. I know that together we can do this. But if we do, we'll be changing more than fate itself. If we succeed, if we win, we'll be changing ourselves. I guess maybe that's why I hesitated.
The whispers appear whenever events start to diverge from the plot of the original Final Fantasy VII. So this has led some to speculate that in a meta way they're basically the FF7 purist who wanted to make this remake to be a one-for-one remaster of the story they love, and by having Cloud and company defeating them was the devs' way of saying that going forward they're going to tell the story of FF7 in a new and unexpected way than before. Whether or not this is true or not, I don't know. Like I said, this is just speculation on a lot of people's part. It could be. Who knows, really, at this point. Some key events might still happen, but not in the same way or exact order you remember from the OG. And themes of this alternate story may be different as well. Again, who knows? Again, just all speculations. And if it is, I don't think the devs are painting those fans as necessarily evil, since the Whispers themselves were never really portrayed as such. Think of all the times they appeared throughout the game. Whenever a big event was about to happen that didn't happen in the original game, the Whispers showed up to try to correct things, regardless of if it favors the protagonist or the antagonist, making them a neutral force in the story. Like, for example, stopping Cloud from killing Reno in the church, because that never happened in the original. And future events in the story need Reno to be alive. Saving Aerith from falling down the stairs, which could have potentially severely injure or even kill her way too early in the story. Stop Hojo from spilling the beans too early on Cloud's true past involving Shinra, or even Barrett dying at the hands of Sephiroth, because again, that never happened, and Barrett isn't fated to die. But now that the Whispers are gone, thanks to us, the players, that means all bets are off, and no character is safe from death's doors. Meaning that a character who didn't die in the OG timeline could potentially die in this new FF7 retelling. Aerith's speech, freedom speech at the end could be interpreted in a meta sense that the devs are free to do what they want now. They're no longer limited to tell the story in a faithful reimagining like they did with they did with this game. That's why I don't think calling this game a remake was necessarily false advertising on Square's part. In fact, since I've finished the game, I've been looking at the title in a different light. It's still remake, but not in a traditional sense. Instead, it means Square has remade the FF7 timeline. That's why I think part one wasn't attached to the title in the first place. And going forward, any future games in this series won't be called remake. So no part 2 or part 3. We might get an entirely different title, like Final Fantasy VII Reunion or Rebirth. Now, due to us changing fate, Zack Fair is alive somehow, including Biggs. WTF? Oh, and by the way, earlier it was revealed that Wedge had somehow survived Sector 7, the Sector 7 plate collapse incident, despite the fact that in the OG game he had died along with his two Avalanche buddies, Biggs and Jesse. But in Chapter 17, the Whisperers attack Wedge when he tried to help Barrett's group in the Shinra building. Though not directly shown, it's implied that the Whisperers threw him out the window of the building as the sound of shattered glass is the last thing heard when the screen fades, possibly killing him. If this is the case, then why even bother keeping him alive only to kill him in a few chapters later when he didn't really do anything of importance to the story between these 5 chapters? The writers should have just kept him dead during the whole plate collapse incident, much like in the OG game did. And to make things worse, not only is Biggs alive, but the ending seemed to imply that Jessie might have survived as well by having Jessie's glove and presumably her bandana on the desk besides a bed with a unconscious Biggs. Then again, this could just be something given to Biggs to keep as a way of remembering her, since she was his comrade. Honestly, I hope this is the case. Otherwise, this would lessen the impact of Chapter 12 in a big way, even though it kind of already has.
Let's go.
I understand why there's a lot of FF7 fans who weren't happy with this game's ending, nor its implication for its future parts. A lot of people were just hoping for a faithful adaptation of the game they loved. That's why there's not a doubt in my mind that Nomura and the rest of the creative team were coming up with the concept of the Whispers and how they were going to end the game, that they knew that this was going to displease some fans. They had to know, but they still chose to go along with their decision, even though this decision was going to piss some people off and leave them disappointed. Now, in an interview, one of the devs did say that the remaining parts going forward will be a more faithful representation of the rest of the story. But I feel like that was just PR talk, because according to an interview with Nomura, that might not be the case at all. So I'm not sure. I like to think that we'll be getting a lot of the same key events, but just under different contexts. But we'll just gonna have to wait and see. I choose to be a bit more optimistic and excited with the decision Square is taking the FF7 story in terms of telling it in a fresh new way. I kind of see it in a similar fashion as, say, the Fate Stay Night visual novel, and how its premise was told in different versions. The Fate route, the Unlimited Blade Works route, and the Heaven Feels route. Each have their own timelines, themes, and narratives differing from one another. And this could be the very same thing by starting off this new version of FF7 as a remake, then becoming something very different. For FF7, this is a different route, but told through how many parts Square plans to tell this new story. Now, with that said, I still have my concerns, especially now that the devs have decided to bring certain characters back to life and what they intend on doing with them. Now, if this was a year ago, I would have told you that my biggest concern was that Tetsuya Nomura being hugely involved in this. The reason I say that is because he's also the director of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. As much as Kingdom Hearts has had a lot of charm to it, I really do love that series. Nomura's storytelling isn't the easiest to follow due to how convoluted it can be. Don't get me wrong, he's done a lot of great things for Square Enix creative-wise, but he does have a habit of going a bit overboard. That's why it's difficult trying to explain the lore of KH to a newcomer without confusing them. And because of that, Nomura's way of telling a story isn't everyone's cup of tea. Now, allow me to clarify something before I get people commenting. Nomura wasn't in charge of the story decisions. Damn, you wasted a lot of that time blaming Nomura. He didn't even write it. Don't even compare this to Kingdom Hearts. Well, here's the thing. I'm not bashing Nomura. I don't hate Nomura. I totally respect the man and all he's done throughout the years. Like I said, I love Kingdom Hearts, and he's the brainchild of it. And I've played enough KH games to tell how Nomura likes to tell his stories in his games. And while I never said this was solely his doing, he definitely played a part in this. It's just that fighting the Harbiters of Fate, their designs looking like a Heartless, gave me huge Cage vibes there, as well as how crazy everything got at the end. Definitely felt more like a Cage game than what the game was trying to be for most of it. You expect me to believe that he had absolutely nothing to do with this? Come on. And yes, I'm aware that Katsuhiro Najima was in charge of the story and scenario for Remake. Nomura still had some creative control behind this project, though. And even if he didn't and had absolutely nothing to do with the ending of the game, you're still missing the point that a lot of people, including me, and felt that the ending just felt off. Now, I still love the game, and I have nothing against Nomura or Najima. I just hope going forward that the storytelling don't get too crazy in future parts. But considering the people who are heavily involved in future parts, it might even get even crazier. Again, that's what I would have said a year ago if I hadn't learned that Nomura stepped back as creative director and Nakami Hakasuchi. God, I hope I didn't butcher that name. I probably did, but anyways, he's now the director. With that said, Nomura is still involved in this.
So, what now?
Sephiroth. As long as he's still out there,
I thought you beat him.
We can. We will. Count me in.
If it's to be a hunt, you could use a nose like mine.
I'm in too. Bastard wants to destroy the whole planet, doesn't he? An enemy of hers is an enemy of Avalanche.
Despite the mixed reception the game's ending has created, overall the game has been hugely praised. In Japan, it was the best-selling retail game during its first week of release, selling 702,853 physical copies. In its first weekend, with the game sold out in many stores worldwide, the game had shipped and sold over 3.5 million copies within 3 days, and 5 million by the end of 2020. This made it one of the biggest launches for a PlayStation 4 game and one of the fastest selling PS4 exclusive in history, surpassing the launch sales of two previous record holders, Marvel's Spider-Man, which sold 3.3 million, and God of War, which sold 3.1 million. Final Fantasy VII Remake was also the top-selling digital PS4 game on the PlayStation Network in April 2020. At the Game Awards, it won Best RPG and Best Score/Music. It also won IGN Japan's Game of the Year in 2020. Despite the worries and concerns we have for the narrative of future parts, it has been a lot of fun watching and listening to multiple crazy theories and speculations for what's going to happen next, as we all wait for Game 2, or whatever the hell it's gonna be called. Some of the craziest and most interesting being Maximilian Dude's. By the way, go watch Spoiler Mode with Maximilian Dude on Easy Ally's YouTube channel if you want to hear his theories. Honestly, I think we really needed this game with what's going on in the real world, this pandemic. We needed something to get our minds off on something more pleasant. I know I did. Playing this game has helped made the last year more bearable. Venturing through Midgar, collecting flowers with Aerith, blowing up reactors with Barrett, kicking tons of Shinra ass, and just chilling in seventh heaven with Tifa, as well as comforting her as if she was our childhood friend, has made me feel like a gamer again. All the while listening to all the breathtaking musical score composed by the same people who did the original Final Fantasy VII. Nabu Mutsu, along with Mitsu Suzuki, and other names I can't really pronounce. By the way, I totally beat Sephiroth on my first try, and I did it playing as Tifa, and I finished the fight with her limit break, Dolphin Flurry. Such a badass way to end the game, am I right? Until now, I've always been watching cutscenes, but actually playing a Final Fantasy game is an entirely different experience, and I'm so glad I chose this to be my first. After playing this, I can't wait for Game 2, and I wouldn't mind playing some of the other Final Fantasy games, at least the ones that piqued my interest. It took me a week and a half to finish this game, and I hate that I did finish it because I enjoyed playing it so much, and I want to explore with these characters I've grown attached to. I've replayed the game from start to finish to relive the joy I felt in my first playthrough. I still had a blast despite already knowing what's going to happen. Doing my second playthrough, I actually beat Sephiroth playing as Aerith, which would be a very cathartic feeling for anyone familiar with the OG FF7 game story. Now, I guess you could say that I've officially become a Final Fantasy fan. I'm sure there's more issues I could have addressed towards this game, but this wasn't really a traditional video game review I'm sure some of you are used to. Instead, it was more of just me sharing my experience with you guys. So I'm interested in reading in the comment section, what's your first true Final Fantasy experience? Please share, But that's it. That concludes this whole thing. And if you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And for more videos coming soon, I'll be doing more FF7 content and just nerdy stuff in general. So with all that said, stay beast.